Hey, what's up? It's Joe with OCDetailing, man. I'm just making sure these Model Ys, since we have a bunch packed in here, all have the correct distance between them, because I know right now we're doing our best for social distancing, so let me make sure these Ys are all doing the right thing. 6 feet. It passes. Now that we made sure we got that correct, let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing to each of these cars. So all 5 of these Tesla Model Ys are getting a full paint protection film installed. They're also getting some window tint, they're getting some accented, done up with vinyl, they're getting a little bit of chrome glue, we're doing some stuff on the inside. This car is done. So this car came in, all kinds of swirl marks on it, all kinds of sanding marks on it. There's quite a few dust nibs in the paint. We did our best to level out some of those. Along with that, we actually did a full paint correction just to really brighten this thing up as much as possible. Me and the customer were going back and forth on whether he wanted to go with an Expel Stealth or he wanted to go with glossy. And you know, on white cars, it's like, can't really go wrong either way, but on gloss, literally we love the snowblind people, so we made this thing as shiny as possible. We did 100% custom wrap, one piece front bumper, everything's wrapped and tucked in. It's literally as close to seamless as you can get. We topped it all off with Seacort's Finest Reserve. Now I think the snow blinding effect is actually happening because I saw it outside in the sun today and I literally couldn't look at it. Let me show you the after results of this thing. So we're going to take my handy dandy spotlight here, and you can see on the paint there's absolutely no marks. There's nothing there. Look. We're very happy to show people our install from an inch away or 2 inches away or half an inch away because you can't tell it's there. We wrapped and tucked everything in so neatly. It's just what we do here. It's all custom installs with really clean edge and corner work. It separates us from a lot of other people's installs, and why that's important on a white car is because everywhere you have an exposed edge is actually going to build dirt up on it. And you'll get to the point where your car can kind of look like Tron, where it's outlined because you have such a tiny edge to wrap into here. But if you look, you can't even tell it's wrapped. Also on this one, we did window tint. So we're in California, 70% is the law here. So we did 70% 3M crystalline on this. It's essentially clear, very, very light shade. But this tint still performs just like the darker films do. So it's really great for comfort because even on a cold day with the sun on this window, I'm sure you would feel the heat inside the car, but this crystalline will cut down on that for sure. The back windows on these are actually 20%, but this is privacy glass. It's not actually tinted glass. So a lot of times, because they're already really dark, we use that same 70% film on them, so you get the extra heat block and the extra UV that comes along with the aftermarket film versus just the actual shaded glass. The reason this is here, if you look at just about any SUV on the road, they call it privacy glass. So it gives anybody in the back, gives yourself in the back, a little more secrecy or privacy. That's why it's privacy glass. This one here, I actually picked up from our customer today with 54 miles on it. It got dropped off yesterday for him. So, you know, again, practicing our social distancing, I went and picked the car up from him. I brought it back to the shop and we looked it over, and it has quite a few swirl marks on it. This one has, you know, quite a few swirls on it. It's not horrible, actually. It's better than some of the other ones. It also has a lot of these little issues. So this is going to be like a dust nib in the paint. If you look, there's an alignment issue here. But this is all pretty minor. You know, once you drive this car, you're going to totally forget about any of this stuff because they're just amazing. Like, the acceleration, the performance, whether it's a performance model or a non-performance model, such a different car. And the customers really love them. Like, these were highly rated by consumer, or Model 3s were highly rated. I'm sure the Model Y will follow in suit. Full paint protection film install, but this one we're going to use Expel Stealth. So this one's going to have the satin finish, which looks really, really cool on midnight silver. So that look, I really love it. Like, every time I see it, sometimes it looks black in different angles, other times it looks gray, but it really gives a menacing effect. After we do the full stealth wrap on this, we'll do wheels off on it and Seacort's Finest Reserve just to make it super easy to maintain. Along with that, we're going to change up the interior for them. We're going to do some carbon fiber accents on the center console, on the dash. It's going to give this car a really unique look, and it's going to look awesome. Still kind of a work in progress here. There's this one actually is all paint corrected. It's wrapped. It's got 70% 3M crystalline on the whole car. Wrap is all done, and you can see the work that we did on this. It's all wrapped and tucked in. Everything's as seamless as it can get. including the bumper being done in one piece because it's a stealth car. Along with that, here's the holes I was talking about that Tesla leaves on the cars. So we're gonna have to put that T back on. We'll do that after we get through doing the ceramic coating on it, and we'll black it out so it matches the rest of the trim. And then, yeah, this came out really nice. Like you have a super glossy white car over there, and you have the satin finish over here. It's really a cool contrast, and I love the way both of them look. The satin is really subtle, actually. If you see one of these that is stealth wrapped out in the wild, like, you might not even notice that it's a satin finish until you get up close to it. So I love that effect, and customers are going to be super happy with this one because the install came out great. We've gotten some practice on these Model Ys now, having worked on a few, and our installs are super clean on them, so I'm really happy with the way they're all coming out. This one was this one is a his and hers car. So this customer had another Model 3 we did a couple years ago. They loved all the work on it, so they brought us their Model Y right when they got it. It was the first non-performance one I saw, and it had these wheels that look very much like the Uber wheels. Uber wheels on the Performance, they're just a little bit smaller, but Tesla did a really good job with this. These wheels look great. Like, and then, you know, this Stealth Y one over here was a non-performance too, and it had these wheels. First time I had seen those. I also noticed these kind of hubcaps come on a Model S as well, so they have this option for a wheel that looks very similar to this on a Model S. Personally, I think I like this one a little bit better, and you know, I haven't seen what this looks like underneath here, so... Oh, it looks just like the Model S wheel. This is also a 19-inch wheel. It comes as a stock wheel choice on a Model S, and we had a car in here with this same wheel. I pulled the hubcap off, or the aero cap, and it looked exactly the same as this. And then this wheel is an option, so it's a 20-inch wheel. And then you also have the Uber wheels that come on the Performance. So from what I can tell, the Model Y has the most wheel options of any of the Teslas out there. Fun fact, the more you know. A lot of defects on it. Some were kind of glaring. It had a lot of little dust nibs and stuff in this car. We did our best to fix all of it and just make everything look as good as it could, just how we always do. And then we did 100% custom Steck Dyno Shield wrap on this to make it super glossy, and we coated it with Seacort's Finest Reserve, which I believe is done. It's just waiting to get baked. Look right here from an inch away, and you can't tell there's film there. You can look right here from an inch away, and you can't tell there's film there. And same thing, all this whole line, it's all tucked and wrapped. Paint, just nothing there. Compared to the first one of these we did, where I showed some of the paint defects in it, so you can see that is some flawless paint. It looks absolutely amazing. This car's been washed and it's been deconned. I picked it up this morning. I brought it over to the shop. We got started getting it all cleaned up. And now we're doing 3M crystalline window tint on all the sides and the back windows. We're just using the 70%, which is essentially the clear film. It gives you some extra heat block on the back windows that are already dark without darkening them, and it gives you a heat block on the front windows, just to make the overall ride more comfortable, because Teslas notoriously have a lot of glass in them. And film like crystalline cuts down on the temperature on the inside, so it makes it a lot more comfortable to drive. And not just Teslas, it works on any cars. We started doing our decontamination, and this one's going to get its paint corrected tomorrow and start getting wrapped with Steck Dyno Shield. You can see we removed the T here, so you have this. And I just want to point out some of the defects that we look for when we're working on these cars. Like, if you look right here, there's all kinds of little divots in the paint.
Yeah, now I do. So stay there.
Yeah.
You can just...
So there's all kinds of these in the paint. Like, this is just one example, and I'm sure this is kind of hard to see on camera, but just right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just right here, and I see them all over. And what those are is, or what that is a fisheye. So a fisheye happens during the painting process when some sort of contaminant gets on the paint and it causes a little divot like that. And when the car gets done, typically you go through and you like sand and polish it to remove stuff like that. But I take it that Tesla's maybe, it doesn't have as many people finishing cars as they normally would, because I've noticed with all these Ys, they seem to have a lot more of this stuff going on than I'm used to seeing, as even with their notoriously not so great finishing when they finish the cars. These have been a little bit worse, so we've been spending some extra time correcting the paint on them. Not a big deal. We'll go over and DA sand all these areas just to flatten that stuff out. We'll polish it out without removing too much orange peel before we wrap it, just to make sure everything's OCD approved. So this is the tinting process that we go through. So we do all hand cut stuff here. We don't pre-cut, we file edges again. And we do this, so basically we pop the door panel up just a little bit, and we're able to engage the lock mechanism that causes the window to go up. Then we shape the film to the outside of the window, and you can see this is 70%, so it's very light. This is pretty much clear. Once installed, you really can't see it. And then after we shape it, we put it to the inside of the window and shrink it. This needs to be shrink a little bit, put it to the inside of the window, and we put it on wet. And once it goes on, we'll file this edge so you won't even be able to tell the tint's there. And that's what we're doing to these 5 Model Ys. Thanks for watching. I'm Joe with OCDetailing. Please subscribe for more videos.